All right, Pops, a host of new data is coming out and is painting an interesting picture for what's going on in the car market. We have auto loan delinquencies and repo rates going up. And I firsthand, Dad, was at an Odessa auction recently, walking the lot. I got to tell you, Pops, the repos, thousands. Like maybe hundreds, there were so many repo cars. And I'm telling you, Dad, Credit Acceptance Corporation was leading the way. But let's start here, Dad. There was a Bloomberg article that recently came out. 5.3% of subprime auto borrowers are more than 60 days late on their payments. We are back to pre-pandemic levels and surpassing pre-pandemic levels of auto loan delinquency. Delinquent auto loans leads to repoed vehicles lead to Odessa auctions lead to dealer inventory. It's a bit of a cycle here that's going to build back inventory, correct?
Yes, and typically repo cars lead to the cream of the crap making it to the auctions, because typically if somebody couldn't afford to be making their payment, well, more than likely they couldn't afford to be maintaining the car that they couldn't afford to make the payment on. So there tend to be a lot more issues with repossessed cars, especially as people begin to realize they're not going to be able to make the payment. They don't care what the car is going to, they know it's going to get repossessed. So many times they end up trashed. And the bids on them at the auctions are relatively low in comparison to the nice vehicles or the nicer vehicles that are out there.
All right, Dad, you can sell your car on CarEdge. What's the deal?
The deal is you just plug in your VIN number and we'll get you offers from local dealers in minutes.
Seconds. CarEdge.com/sell.
Okay.
I will say, again, walking the lot and seeing some of the repo cars, you are right, some of them are trash, but also, no offense to WeBuyAnyCars.com, but like some of their cars are also trash. So there's a mix. There's definitely a mix, and we'll address it right now. There is no way for you to know on a Carfax if a car was repoed or not. That's not information that's going to show up on a Carfax. The only way you're going to know is if you ask the dealer, you ask them, hey, where'd you buy this from? And they say, oh, we actually got it from Wells Fargo at the Mannheim auction. The likelihood they're going to tell you that is also very low. I mentioned one company before, Pops, and that was Credit Acceptance Corporation. Their first quarter earnings are coming out the day that this video is being released. And what is incredibly interesting about that, Dad, is if you look at their prior annual earnings, their loan loss provisions, the amount of money they've set aside for loans that they wrote that they now no longer think are actually going to come to fruition, that they're actually going to get paid on, they increased that last year, Dad. So before the as you like to say, the poop hit the fan, they increased that 403% last year. We'll put it up on the screen here, the amount that their loan loss provisions went up in Q1 of 2023, because I can assure you, we're filming this right before it comes up, but I can assure you it's gone up even more.
Oh, I would imagine. And Credit Acceptance Corporation is the subprime lender of choice for many people that find themselves as subprime borrowers. So they know going in, Credit Acceptance Corporation, that they're going to have a much higher delinquency rate and loan loss provision rate than your average lender out there. And it normally, since their interest rates that they're charging are so high, that even with a 5 or 7 or 8% repo rate, they're still making money hand over fist. My suspicion is that the repo rates at Credit Acceptance Corporation will be rising probably somewhat dramatically since inflation seems to still be rearing its ugly head and affordability has become a greater issue for more and more Americans on a monthly basis.
And one of the things that I think is interesting about this, Dad, is all of the data that we get, it's rear view mirror. Everything we see is stuff that's already happened and it's now being reported. The Bloomberg article cites rear view mirror data. Even the Credit Acceptance Corporation, it's the prior quarter or the prior year. What's actually happening on the streets right now is likely even more significant than what's being reported from 60 days ago, 90 days ago, 180 days ago. And the reason I can say that with any type of conviction is because we continue to see interest rates going up, the cost of goods going up, and that means that ultimately more and more people are being pinched. And so I think, And we've had this discussion many times. I think you're likely going to see more used car supply, at least a bit of a rebound in used car supply, not the repogeddon that we've talked about in the past, but you are going to continue to see an increase here because these cars are being repossessed. You can literally go to the auction. You can see them there. It is happening. And all of this rear view mirror data just corroborates that. But you can literally go drive past the auction lot right now and you'll see the cars there because they're being repoed.
Well, yes, but the problem is that even though there's more repossessions and even though there will be more pre-owned cars that are going to make it to auctions, it's still insignificant in comparison to what inventory levels used to be for pre-owned cars at the franchised and independent dealers. The amount of used cars that are being offered for sale is down considerably from what it normally had been, and there's not enough repossessions and not enough cars being traded in to significantly impact the amount of vehicles that will become available. What it means is that there'll be probably more cars at the auction that are just really not very nice cars that more dealerships are going to find themselves bidding on.
Pre-purchase inspection, folks. If you're going to buy a used car, again, you can't just look on a title and it says repo. It's hard. The only way to really know is to have been walking that lot and see that it came from Wells Fargo, it came from whatever credit corporation. So the thing you really got to do, maybe you find a diamond in the rough, but you got to get a pre-purchase inspection. It'll be interesting to see what other data comes out over the next couple of weeks and months, Dad. I think the trend will continue to show banks being more cautious, so setting aside more money, and actual delinquency rates and repo rates continuing to go up. And I know you and I will definitely be covering it.
I'm pretty sure you'll make sure we talk about it. And I'm pretty sure that with the inflation being what it is, that delinquencies are going to continue to go up.
Which, to be clear, neither of us are fans of this. There were so many poor decisions that were made last year and in 2021 as well, as dealerships were able to charge an arm and a leg for vehicles as supply was short. Like, we feel terribly for the people who made decisions that are now significantly underwater and can't afford them. However, it is a storyline here and one that will impact future buyers. Maybe we should be doing some content in the future for folks who are finding themselves underwater, because we know that is a trend as well that's going on right now.
It's an unfortunate reality.